Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to talk about the WWE Elimination Chamber. How about that? Kofi Kingston. Gonna hop into him. Top 8 takeaways from WWE Elimination Chamber. I'm about to start this thing right now. Feel free to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to be notified of every video that I make. And if you're a true blue wrestling fan, feel free to hit that like button on this video. So, top 8 takeaways. Not in particular order, but the first takeaway I had, is that the cruiserweights continue to deliver for WWE. They had an outstanding showing. Buddy Murphy and Akira Tozawa, they tore the house down last night. They had the crowd eating out of their hands, and spot after spot, it was amazing. I think that Frankensteiner reversal spot was just out of this world. I just tweeted, wow, after that. And the spot where Akira Tozawa went for the tope and he dove right into a suplex on the floor, that was sick as well. The reign of terror continues for Buddy Murphy, as well it should. That was a phenomenal match. These guys need to be on the main card, not the freaking kickoff show. The next takeaway I had was that the ladies delivered last night. Look, the match started off rather slowly. We had the Carmella element out there that got out the way quick. But the match started off rather slowly, and I'm looking at it, I'm watching it, I'm like, let's see if it picks up. And it definitely did pick up. The only negative takeaway that I could have from this match was the Iconics. Look, they are the only true tag team in this division, and I was hoping that they would win or at the least have a great showing, because even in losing sometimes, you can have a great showing for yourself, as was proved in the main event. But they just got eliminated like right out of the blocks, and just eliminated by Nia Jax and Tamina, which was like, oh well. So we'll see what happens with the Iconics from here on out. Hopefully they get the titles at some point throughout their run. As for the end of the match, we had Sasha Banks and Bayley versus Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. And when it came down to those four, I was like, okay, obviously we know the result. But there was a hint of doubt there. Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose actually got a spot where it was like, okay, they might win here. But of course, we got the result. Sasha Banks with the win. That modified Banks statement, when she locked in her leg with the Banks statement, I was like, oh, all right, I like that. She got the tap out. We got the incredible moment with Sasha Banks and Bayley. They are your new and first WWE Tag Team Champions of the World, Women's Tag Team Champions of the World. They got a nice interview afterwards, and it is great to see something positive happen for Sasha Banks and Bayley, something of note, because God knows they've been down doing nothing for months now. So it's something nice. It's nice to see something great happen for them. It was a fantastic match. The ladies kicked off the show greatly. Next takeaway I have, the third takeaway I have, is an Uso surprise. Now, going into this match, we had the arrest of Jimmy Uso. Prior to it, days ago, we had The Miz announcing that he has another baby on the way, dedicating the match to his unborn child. So you're going into it, you're like, okay, Miz and Shane is going to win here. Of course they're going to win. I even thought that before the pay-per-view. But once he made that declaration, The Miz made that declaration, I'm like, okay, surely The Miz and Shane McMahon is going to win this match. So what we got was a lackluster match, to be honest with you. The only thing of note was the dive to the outside from Shane McMahon to the announce table. And from there, I'm thinking, okay, The Miz is going to go in. He's going to win this. And surprise, surprise, we get a roll-up win. And Jimmy Uso wins. And it's like, well, what just happened here? A lot of people are saying that's the AEW element. The Usos contract are coming up. They don't want the Usos leaving. And I'm not going to knock that whatsoever. That could be the case. We don't know, to be quite honest with you. But the fact remains that The Miz and Shane McMahon are no longer champions. And I don't know what caused it, but good job, WWE. Thank you for getting the titles off of Shane McMahon and The Miz. They can go off and do whatever it is that they do. Maybe now we can see sanity now, for goodness sakes. Moving on, The next takeaway I have, fourth takeaway, is what is next for Bobby Lashley and Finn Balor? Like the middle portion of the show, from the first match to the main event, there was not really anything going on in the middle portion of this show. The matches weren't all that exciting, if you ask me. Even this match, Bobby Lashley and Lio Rush versus Finn Balor, the handicap match really hurt what could have been a fantastic one-on-one match between Bobby Lashley and Finn Balor. But as it would turn out, Finn Balor would pick up the win with the coup de grace on Lio Rush. I don't like that in itself. I would rather Finn Balor get the strong victory over Bobby Lashley, because, I mean, picking it up over Lio Rush, what does that do? It does nothing at all for me. But I am happy to see Finn Balor with the Intercontinental Championship. So what is next? Bobby Lashley took out Lio Rush. That was very surprising to me. And it seems like they are breaking up Bobby Lashley and Lio Rush. I don't have any idea why. Lio Rush was a fantastic mouthpiece for Bobby Lashley. I don't know why they're breaking them up. We'll see as the story unfolds. We'll see Bobby Lashley later on in the night. So what's next for Finn Balor? It'll be interesting because there's no legit, for sure, surefire contender for the Intercontinental Championship. So we'll see how this story plays out at WrestleMania. Finn Balor as the Intercontinental Champion, I'm very excited for him, and it should be nothing but good things after this. So the next takeaway that I have is that Ruby Riott deserves better. Man, come on. Like, we all knew Ronda Rousey was winning this match. WWE didn't give a crap about the match, even though they booked it. And, like, I was at least expecting Ruby Riott to have a good showing here. She's a phenomenally talented worker. She's the best worker out of all of the Riott squad. I continue to say that, and I continue to believe it because it's true. And what we got here was a squash match with Ruby Riott tapping out. Like, I expected her to get submitted, but at least give me some false hope spots. At least give me something to where you can say that in a loss, Ruby Riott still looked good. I mentioned that you can do that. You can lose a match and in a loss, you can still look good sometimes. And this could have been one of those times for Ruby Riott, but instead we got a squash match. Like, she deserves much better than that. So after the match, we got Charlotte and Ronda Rousey facing off, and I'm like, okay, what's going to give here? Something has to happen here. And my next takeaway here, as Becky Lynch came out on crutches, my next takeaway, and I hate to say this, but it is what it is. Becky Lynch is starting to lose steam. It's just not noticeable yet. Becky Lynch comes out in crutches, and she's doing this whole thing. She comes out of crutches. It takes forever for her to get to ringside. So she gets in the ring, and surprise, surprise, she's not actually hurt. And I'm going to get to this later on, to which it just threw me for a loop. She starts nailing Charlotte over the back with the crutch. Crowd is going wild for her. And then she turns her attention to Ronda Rousey. Looks like they're going to beat down Charlotte, but she starts beating down Ronda Rousey with the crutch. And I don't understand this. Becky Lynch is supposed to be suspended. So she walks past security guards. She's supposed to be suspended. Like, it makes no sense. She's not supposed to be in the ring. So Becky Lynch is going to stand there for however long she stood there. She's going to waylay Charlotte and Ronda Rousey for however long she did. And nobody's going to come out and get her out of the ring. Like, how much am I supposed to suspend my belief? I can't suspend it that much because she's supposed to be suspended. She shouldn't be in the ring from the start. Now, the reason I say she's losing steam is because, and before I get to that, she left the ringside. Once the security came out, she left ringside. She started selling the injury again. Like, what is going on with that? Kill it with the stupid injury angle. Like, the reason I say she's losing steam is because it feels like they're trying too hard now. Now, I applaud them for putting some effort into Becky Lynch. Don't get me wrong. I applaud that. But initially, what got Becky Lynch over is that they just had her come out, get on the mic, and tell the truth and speak her mind. And that was all she needed. And she would just go and nail people and beat up people, speak her mind, and they kept it real simple. Now they are trying too much to have her be the overarching hero or trying to have her overcome the odds. And it's just starting to come off not as inauthentic, but it's just starting to come off as they're just trying too hard. And initially, look, the crowd still loves her to death. The crowd is always going to love Becky Lynch, but she just does not have that same aura about her that she had, to where I felt as she was the hottest thing in WWE. She's the best thing since sliced bread. It doesn't feel that way anymore. She feels more so like a character that is really over. And there's nothing wrong with that, but she's losing a tad bit of that special nature that she once had. She's losing just a tad of steam, and I hope I'm eventually wrong about that one. But I think we will eventually see this play out to where she's just not the same character that she once was the further along we get in this WrestleMania build. So my next takeaway is we got to see Strowman versus Corbin and Lashley and Drew McIntyre again. Like, you can't be any more creative. Like, it's Strowman versus Baron Corbin. I'm like, okay, let's get this over with. I'm sick of seeing it. So Lashley and Drew McIntyre comes out, and I'm like, we're doing this again? Corbin versus, and these two guys versus Strowman? I cannot be any less interested in this. We have Corbin beat Strowman with the aid of Lashley and Drew McIntyre, and it is one of the most uninspiring, uninteresting things I've ever seen. And because of it, and before it, Braun Strowman is one of the most uninspiring, uninteresting characters in the entire WWE roster right now. I could care less about him. And that's such a shame, because he was next in line to be world champion, and now he's doing this, to which I have no interest in whatsoever. If you wanted to get to Strowman versus Drew McIntyre, you could have did it another way. Like, there was interest at one point in a Strowman versus Drew McIntyre match. It looked like it was going to be for the Universal Championship at one point, and then Brock Lesnar, of course, Brock Lesnar retains, and now I have no interest in this match whatsoever. I don't know what we're going to get at WrestleMania, but I'm not interested in it whatsoever. So the last takeaway that I have, and the eighth takeaway of the day that I have, is that the legend of Kofi Kingston grows, ladies and gentlemen. This was so awesome. We started the match, and it was a fantastic match. I loved every bit of it. I didn't particularly like Samoa Joe getting eliminated first, because that guy deserves better things, and it's just not looking like it's going to happen anytime soon for Samoa Joe. But as we got toward the end of the match, it came down to Kofi Kingston, Randy Orton, and Daniel Bryan. I tweeted, right when it came down to those two guys, I tweeted, okay, I see how it's going to go here. Kofi is going to narrowly put on a great show, but he's going to narrowly lose this match, and he's going to defeat Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. So, of course, Randy Orton goes out. It comes down to Daniel Bryan and Kofi Kingston. And despite me tweeting that, despite me feeling the way that I felt that it's going to happen at WrestleMania, I was still invested into it. I wanted to see it. And Houston, my goodness, that crowd. Houston is not even known for being a traditionally great wrestling city like the Chicago's, or your New Yorks or something, or those type of places. But it sounded like Chicago. It sounded like Canada in that place, because they wanted to see Kofi Kingston win that title. And there was a point in the match to where Kofi hit the SOS, and you could hear the crowd rumbling and roaring as he hit it. And they got the 2 count, and you just feel deflation of the crowd, because they wanted to see it. There was another point in this match where Daniel Bryan was going for the high knee, and I was like, okay, a trouble in paradise is coming. And we got the high knee, we got the 2 count, the low 2 count that Kofi Kingston kicked out of, and the crowd just lost it. You can feel the crowd. They wanted it so bad. We eventually got that trouble in paradise, which led to a long 2 count. But at the end of the day, Daniel Bryan picks up the win, and the air was just let out of the arena. Complete silence, because they wanted to see Kofi Kingston win. Now, I wanted to see Kofi Kingston win. I'll get into this on my podcast later this week, but I want to see a brother win the world title at some point. Like, I really want to see it again. And Kofi Kingston was right there, and I could feel it. I wanted to see it, and you can feel it. They cut to a shot in the crowd, and there was a brother. It was one of those spots where Kofi Kingston narrowly had it, but I think Daniel Bryan kicked out, and there was a brother in the crowd that just did this. And like, I felt his pain. We want to see this so bad. I want to see a brother win the world title so bad. And there's a case to be made that, you know what, they should have just pulled the trigger right then and there. Because the crowd wanted it, would have been a tremendous moment. But now I look at it, and WWE has no choice but to go with Kofi Kingston versus Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. They have no choice but to put the title on Kofi Kingston at WrestleMania, on the grandest stage of them all, the granddaddy of them all, WrestleMania. And I cannot wait for this build. It is going to be tremendous. Kofi Kingston deserves it. Not just because he's put in so much work for WWE, but he got this opportunity. Mustafa Ali got hurt, and Kofi Kingston found himself here. And now that he's here, the crowd is fully behind him 100%. I don't know if they would have did it this way with Mustafa Ali, but Kofi Kingston is here, and WWE has no choice. You have to put the title on this man. The crowd was chanting Kofi, Kofi, Kofi as the guy walked down to ringside. So the crowd wants to see it. I cannot wait to see what happens on Tuesday Night SmackDown. I'm pretty sure the crowd's going to be behind him 100%, and we'll see how this all shakes out from here. The legend of Kofi Kingston grows, ladies and gentlemen. So those are my top 8 takeaways from the Elimination Chamber. Let me know your thoughts down below, whether that's on YouTube comments, Periscope, or on Twitter at 2SweetsPOD. That's the number 2, SweetPOD, or at OMGCoreyB. I will respond to all. Let me know your thoughts on Twitter. Kofi Kingston for the title at WrestleMania. I hope it goes down, ladies and gentlemen.